before I show you my comment on this, I want to play this out because I think this is very important to the times that we are living. And a mere representation as to what our country actually means to us. I remember when I was at 30th AG in Fort Benning, when I was doing processing and everything like that for the infantry. There was a drill sergeant that said, "We're all green." Who? Someone just different shades. And that's something I just kind of go by because he was of a different complexion than myself. And the drill sergeants just, they just had a way and stuff. Like, I mean, freaking hate them and love them. I mean, like, definitely, memorable. But I digress. Let me, so this is exactly what we need to do right now because, like, things are just going too freaking crazy. And, I support what the Canadian truckers are doing and everything of that nature. At the same time, I believe that there's a less disruptive means of going about business. Yes, it is about violence of action. No, that doesn't mean like freaking physical, like what the protesters are doing right now up in Canada and such. I mean, I think there's actually two different factions too. And so maybe there's like an Antifa type faction up in whatchamadinger, up in Canada. Excuse me. And anyways, without exploring that too much, I just believe that there's a less disruptive way of going about things because people's lives are being disrupted. And that's the thing is, freedom of movement is, I mean, at least that's what I was trained with and everything of that nature, is allowing freedom of movement. And so, while still maintaining occupation, that's clear. But this is what we need to do right now.
At the end of May 1932, nearly 10,000 bonus marchers occupied the nation's capital, and tens of thousands more were on their way. Police Chief Glassford realized he was on his own.
They followed their leaders in the childlike faith that their government would help them, just as they had responded during the war. Hence, I felt these veterans could not be treated like bums.
On June 4th, thousands of Washingtonians lined the streets to see what the Washington Post called the strangest military parade the Capitol had ever witnessed. The BEF was marching in full force. Within days, Walter Waters had a full-fledged lobbying operation underway.
The veterans frankly made a nuisance of themselves. A couple of veterans were always sitting in each representative's waiting rooms. The representatives were solicited outside the building as well.
The strategy quickly paid off. After just 2 weeks, the House of Representatives passed the bonus bill. The BEF had won a battle, but a greater one awaited them in the Senate. In a remote neighborhood of Washington known as Anacostia, an enormous tent and shack city rose from the mudflats. Here, the threadbare heroes of World War I formed their last great encampment.
We just drove in and we were ankle deep in mud. I never saw so much mud in my life.
American flags could be seen flying from every possible vantage point.
Well, the city was laid out in Anacostia. The streets were named by states. There was a library in the center of it run by the Salvation Army. There was music day and night. There was gospel music, and there was blues music, and there was country music, and popular music. There are people who build beautiful little replicas of suburban homes. There were guys who were buried alive for money.
I well remember the veteran laying in a casket saying, hey, they treat us like we were dead people.
A popular form of entertainment in the camp was boxing.
I was the best boxer. I was. We boxed, pass the hat. My dad would get a little irate if we didn't really punch each other out. And he'd throw up both of our arms. It was always a draw, always a draw, always a draw.
People across the country sympathized with the Bonish Marchers' plight. But to official Washington, they were just a sign of trouble on the horizon. One of the stories that went largely unreported was that the color line seemed to have vanished in the Bonus Army camps. Visitors were astonished to see black veterans and white veterans sharing billets, chores, and rations.
The military experience has the potential for transcending things like race. And for black veterans to be in company with white veterans was a revolutionary thing.
Roy Wilkins, an enterprising young reporter working for the NAACP, decided to visit and see for himself.
At Anacostia, there was no residential segregation. Recruits of any color were made welcome.
It was a big event in the part of the city that I lived in. They had groups of whites and Negroes that formed a unit because they were from the same state. That was not so usual for the city of Washington.
And there were lots of people, especially people in the military, who saw this as a very, very dangerous thing.
And right there was the tragedy of it all. Men can live, eat, play, and work together, be they black or white, just as the BEF demonstrated.
On June 17, 1932, thousands of Bonus Marchers assembled on Capitol Hill to maintain a vigil on the Senate, scheduled to vote on the bonus bill passed by the House. The shouts and songs of the veterans, "The Yanks are starving! The Yanks are starving!" could be heard in the Senate chamber as the heated debate went on. Late in the day, Waters delivered the result to his troops.
The Senate overwhelmingly defeated the bonus bill, and the men were extraordinarily disappointed. But fortunately, a newspaper reporter suggested to Waters that he ought to order the men to sing America. And they did. They all sang America, and they dispersed peacefully.
But Waters urged the marchers to remain in Washington.
I am not advising anybody to go home. We intend to maintain our army in Washington regardless of who goes home.
President Hoover and other people kept saying, why can't we drive them home? A lot of these people didn't have a home.
It was pretty clear to everybody that they could not remain. But no one knew how to get rid of them, and no one wanted violence.
On July 16th, the last day...
And this is where my comment comes into play. And sorry, I've been kind of mumbling along. It's happening again. Let's see, it's Oakland. Where is it? As opposed to insurrection. Oh, maybe. I think I freaking commented on the wrong one. Or I commented on the right one, but hold on a second. All right.
It was pretty clear to everybody that they could not remain. But no one knew how to get rid of them, and no one wanted violence.
The mistake the Bonus Army made was they left their guns at home. Exactly. Should have been an eye for an eye. Same with January 6th. They owe us one capital cop for Ashley's life. Fucking ignorance, motherfucker. Fucking ignorance. I didn't even read that before, but that's fucking ignorance. Okay. You're wrong. The rest of the country should have taken arms. It was their turn. Am I wrong? Freaking, we were the front line. Freaking, see what they were gonna do to us. Freaking, freaking, the war was to end all wars, and that's the way they were treated, right? We broke freaking segregation and everything because when we're in a suck, we're in a suck. Then who actually goes into the freaking armed services, and especially the front line, the grunts? It's usually those in impoverished positions and whatnot, even just freaking mutts without homes. The drill sergeants are the fathers of lost boys. It's something that I've grown to. I've said, and just kind of, it's true, but they're gonna push us around. What the fuck do you think they're gonna need to get? Think about it. And the thing is that we're combat hardened and shit like that. Now, and the thing is that they're trying to remove that with this artificial intelligence, with these robots and whatnot. And it's the human experience is kind of diminishing, and that's part of the reason why we're such threats, is because we're with this algorithmic learning technology, this data collected and everything. There can't be any testosterone in the system. It's trying to create an asexual being. It really is. Think about it. But I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
On July 16th, the last day Congress was in session, Washington was on edge. Thousands of angry veterans surrounded the Capitol. Near midnight, the 72nd Congress adjourned. Congressmen left through back doors and underground tunnels to avoid confrontations.
Because they're fucking cowards. They're not leaders. You understand that? Those are bosses. Anyone that freaking leaves through the back door, they're bosses. They're not leaders. You understand?
The situation had come to a head. The president ordered the evacuation of the veterans from downtown Washington.
Abuse of power. Instead of actually acknowledging, recognizing the problem, no. Just freaking get rid of them.
By police count, there were still 11,698 marchers and their families in Washington.
Civilians. That's how desperate the times were.
Midway between the White House and the Capitol stood a row of half-demolished buildings where hundreds of marchers were living. On the morning of July 28th, the wheels were in motion to evict them. Waters urged his men to cooperate. Then someone began to throw bricks at the police.
Glassford and several...
A provocateur. Possibly. At the same time, fucking... freaking... I don't want to put it past one of us.
Police officers run to the area. 2 cops are grabbed. 1 cop pulls out a gun and he fires. Another cop turns and he fires a shot.
1 veteran was dead and another lay dying.
Now there's been bloodshed. Now you bring in the troops.
When MacArthur moved his troops to the affected area, he knew exactly what he was going to do. And he adorned himself in his dress uniform along with his major aide, Dwight D. Eisenhower.
The force stepped off at 4:30 p.m. More than 200 cavalrymen spread out across Constitution and Pennsylvania avenues. Behind them came 400 infantrymen, followed up by tanks and armored vehicles.
I was about 7 years old.
You guys send a fucking army to defeat a fucking army, you understand? And where were the people? Who came? Who came to support the troops? Who came to support the troops? Yeah, does my comment make fucking sense now? The rest of the country should have taken arms. It was their turn. Because the government was abusing its power. And breaking fucking promises. They fucking have ridden us with fear. For their fucking agenda. They fucking pump us up to fucking be like, oh yeah, USA, USA. Freaking, oh, I'm gonna freaking fuck them up because I wanna fuck, yeah, USA, man, yeah. And then freaking, we're fucking used fucking whores. Dirty fucking whores. Cast to the fucking, the river fucking dump. You know, we're fucking, I mean, just kind of, in a fucking, I'll show you exactly what it's like.
Old at the time, and the troops were out on Pennsylvania Avenue. I was scared, and my dad kept saying nothing's going to happen.
The cavalrymen, one of whom is Major Patton, have got their sabers out.
The soldiers donned gas masks and without warning began hurling gas grenades at the veterans. The troops advanced, some jabbing with bayonets.
Tear gas was just burning my face. I was trailing behind my dad, and he kept hollering, "Come on, boy, come on, boy."
Marchers were choking from the gas, just like the battlefields.
So, I mean, that was a fucking, the guy telling the story, he was a fucking kid. That's how fucking sick our fucking government is. Fucking gassing fucking civilians. They went to war with us. And who the fuck picked up a fucking weapon? That's why.
In France.
And so they're being forced out of their shacks by smoke bombs and tear gas, hurled by the troops who have been called out by the President of the United States.
Chief Glassford stood by helplessly.
The veterans did not believe the country for which they had fought would ignore the plight into which the Depression had placed them. Many did not believe that United States troops would take the field against them.
By early evening, most of the marchers had been driven across a drawbridge that led to their main camp.
The president does not want MacArthur to cross the bridge. And MacArthur disregards the order.
So, where does that leave us? Where does that leave us at this point in time? Bringing, who picked up the weapons? Who was peacefully demonstrated? Maybe that person throwing bricks was exercising proper escalation of force. Maybe the cops were having some brutality issues. And, and maybe they were fucking with a freaking disabled vet. The thing is that, where was the color? Lines. There weren't any. It was about freaking... And what do you think is going to happen now. I mean, because a lot of the fucking veterans from the freaking last 20 years of war, I mean, you want to talk about a social credit fucking program or a social service program, like Social Security and shit, freaking no. I mean, like, that's gone up. That's gone way the fuck up. And especially because of all this woke culture shit, and people are becoming ultra sensitive to every freaking thing. Like, freaking, no, it's about putting people, you know, these veterans that freaking stuffed their tail in Kuwait practicing for freaking a mortar attack and like going to a fucking shelter or something like that. And no. And versus, you know, people like myself who have been in situations that freaking just don't. I have trouble understanding, because freaking how the hell did I get so fucking lucky? I mean, I can't fucking put my finger on it, and the only thing I can think of is that I'm trying to do the right thing. But let me just show you, you know, how it feels to be freaking just thrown to the wayside. And I'm certain that other people fit in this category, which is why freaking Bonus Army 2.0, because we're trying to defend our country here. You know, fuck this freedom convoy. Freaking, we can do things a lot better. We can be a lot more better organized, and we can do it more tactfully. Equilibrium is a great movie, and I might just kind of show you some clips and stuff too. But friggin', this feels to be friggin' a grunt. And then, yeah, I'll definitely play one more, just kind of conclude this sequence.
These animals were defended by women and children. We put them down easily. This isn't the first time we've seen this. Why do they keep these animals? Do they eat them? What do you want me to do, sir? Exterminate them, of course. All right, let's do it. No. What's wrong, Claire? Nothing. Toss it back in. I'll finish it off. Give it to me, sir. Give it to him, cleric. He'll finish it. Wait! Seems to me that at least some of these animals ought to be tested for disease.
And maybe I should just kind of build up this moment, because I really want you all to watch this movie, because it's very, very relevant. Well, I must admit that I didn't even realize it, but I have a freaking crush on Christian Bale. But yeah, equilibrium, empath cleric.
Lawful entry. We have a warrant for your wife's arrest. She's charged with sex offense.
Friggin', yeah, I'm telling you, great movie. But hold on. Well, you can catch it here, or right here. Like, yeah, freaking. No, there's like, you can watch the full version on here and stuff, but let's just. I'm telling you, you gotta watch this fucking movie. Like, it's beautiful.
Clerk, lights out. Maybe more than a dozen inside.
When the door's down, blow the bulbs.
Yes, sir. Go.
And to defending the grunt.
I got the whole world on the edge of their seats.
I don't know what else to do with you. Go on.
That's the VA. NARF, not really. No, that just...
Go!
We just try to throw away all of our freaking emotion. Because it gets that hard and freaking feeling fucking sucks. That's why so many of us succumb to vices that numb our senses. Because reality just isn't what it used to be. How easy it is to run away.
Fine. You're going back in the trunk.
Freaking, yeah, I just got feelings for a fucking whore, and well, you know, I can't be seen with a freaking whore and such, so I gotta stay quiet, stay in the back.
Okay.
into this. Friggin', just think about friggin' all the talent that goes to Hollywood and is easily disposed of. Friggin', this movie is definitely worth watching numerous times. It's quite a story.
Identification.
Cleric. Here on official.
Identification.
It's in my coat.
Where's the coat? Where is it?
Don't have it.
Unidentified individuals are subject to summary destruction.
You're making a very big mistake. I'm a Grammaton cleric, first class.
We're to search your vehicle.
No, you're not. There's nothing in it.
Search it. Clear, sir. Keys to the trunk.
I'm trying to tell you. I have a pre-dawn combustion to witness. I'm not... Captain, this is a waste of my time. My name is John Preston. I'm the highest ranking cleric of the Tetragram.
Wait. Stand off. Sorry, I didn't recognize you, sir.
It's okay. Just doing the job.
Thank you. We'll escort you back to the gate.
Thanks. Animals. Atlas full of them.
Sounds like it came from your trunk.
Possible. Just give me my keys. I'll be on my way. Captain, I'm asking you one last time. Don't do this.
Down on your knees! Down on your knees! Good! Good! Shoot him! On the front line! Shoot him! Shoot him! What? Ah, shit! Shoot him! Shoot him! Shoot him!
That's why Christian Bale, that's why Christian Bale is a blockbuster hit. He fucking love the man. Absolutely. But definitely check this out. Equilibrium. It puts everything in perspective. And it's just... let me give you a...
The cleric is the final line of defense. If the resistance compromises it, we are doomed.
There's nothing we can't do.
It's real. Burn it.
Cleric, I can only hope one day to be as uncompromising as you. You're a family man.
Yes, sir, a boy and a girl.
Don't move! Don't move! This is a lawful entry. We have a warrant for your wife's arrest.
Remember me.
Welcome to the underground. Do you know why you came? They trained you your whole life to fight these kind of odds.
What can I do?
I've heard the most disturbing rumor.
Rumor, sir.
A rumor maintaining that one of the cleric is actually attempting to contact the resistance.
Then you know what I'm gonna do now.
Preston, give yourself entirely without incident.
No, not without incident.
Watch it. I'm telling you, it freaking makes sense. Rewatch it. Freaking, there's a story to tell. Definitely a story to tell. And I strongly believe that some of the people on the inside, they try to communicate with us. And Christian Bale, I think, is one of those outlets.